wife we were at home and she's just freaking yelling. And the phone rings and it's this lady that I work with at the hospital. And she says that I was her Google before Google. She would just call and ask me these questions, like whatever, whatever it was. So she calls and she goes, "What are the name of those fish that people go out and catch at the ocean at night?" I go, "Grunion." He's like, yeah, grunion. So I hang out. My wife's like, "What did she want?" I'm like, "She wanted to know the name of the grunion were." She's like, "Really? You expect me to believe that?" I'm like, "No, I swear." That's what she wanted. Like, oh my gosh. The grunion are running. And that's what, I had to convince my wife that's really what she was calling about.
Yeah, good luck trying to convince your wife that you're Ask Jeeves for this lady.
Yeah. Oh, God. Horrible. I was so bad.
Man, boss man. Beating the women off with a stick. I don't get it.
It was awful. I mean,
my wife says I'm oblivious to it.
Oh, you miss it?
I don't know how many times she said it, but we'll be out somewhere and cashier, waitress, they'll all be hitting on me, and she's like, "They're hitting on you." I'm like, "What?" I do have a ring on my finger. Come on. I don't care. You don't notice it? I was like, "No, I didn't notice nothing." And she's like, "They're hitting on you."
Well, and if you're not noticing it, why are you pointing it out?
I mean,
who cares?
I don't care.
Nope. If it went over your head, why point it out to you? No, that actually happened with me online a lot. People around me would be telling me that guests that come on my show are doing that. It happened actually tonight. Somebody said that.
Yeah, hitting on you.
No, yeah, and I was like, I don't think all of these people are. But there were some obvious ones in the past that I didn't notice, and then I went back and played some of the replays, and I was like, all right, that is a little weird. Now that I was wondering what everybody was talking about and why somebody only comes around at certain times, and there's some weird ones. There was an older lady that used to come to my channel very often, and a lot of people asked me if I was talking to her offline. And I was like, no, I'm not talking to any of these women offline. And yeah, no, there was a few people that I think Herman asked me about it. Tiffany asked me about it. April asked me about it. There was a couple, several people were like, hey, what's going on with this? And I was like, nothing.
Oh, my wife has questioned some of the people I've talked to online too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not there for that.
Right.
Gonzo puts Bossman over there blowing himself. I can honestly say, Gonzo, that it's physically impossible for Bossman to blow himself.
I'm in the same boat. I got a beer belly.
Here's another one, Jacob. I went to my 20-year high school reunion, and this chick that I went to school with from grade school on, she looked like just the same as she had in school. And
that's cool.
I went up to her, I'm like, Carrie, I go, you look just like my third wife. And she said, third wife? How many times have you been married? I said, twice. Dude, she was just all over me. And when I got back then, Facebook Messenger would come on the left side of the screen, like a little window would pop up, and you would reply there. And I was on the computer, and that thing popped up, and it was her. She's saying, hey, I just moved out of my house. I got a condo. I want to get together with you. I want to have the same, blah, blah, that we had at the reunion. And my wife walks in. My second wife walks in. And I'm like trying to close it real quick. And then she goes, "What was that?" I go, "Oh, I don't know. Just some kind of a pop-up."
Didn't feel like telling her the comment about the third wife. We'll hold that one in.
Yeah, Gonzo, I know Leap and Lanny could do it. Yeah.
Joe, man. Oh, yeah.
You guys are just trouble.
Oh,
I mean,
Tony's over here like, I don't talk to women.
I don't talk to many people.
I don't talk to women either. I said the only time this happens is when I miss it or when I don't initiate it. And I usually put my hands up in the air in a panic because I think I'm going to get hit by my significant other. Like, it's never, I got to hide something. That worries me.
I always just be respectful and polite.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
That'll get you in trouble. That'll get you in trouble.
Oh, I get in more trouble just by turning my head. Come on now.
Yeah. No, I get in trouble for respectful and polite. Sometimes you have to be rude and say no.
I don't do that. I've been married. No. I'm going on 30 years now.
No, I'm saying say no to strangers, not to the loved one. The loved one just gets yeses. But if a stranger walks up and tries to give me a hug, sometimes I just need to say no and not be friendly.
I don't allow strangers to give me hugs.
There you go. That's why I said. You just gotta say no sometimes.
No. I gotta know you or want to meet you in person, kind of thing.
All right, you met. All right,
if I ran into you, Jacob, I'd give you a hug.
No, right. I'm saying like a high school girl that you went to high school with. She recognizes you. She walks up off the street. She's a good-looking lady. She comes up and tries to give you a hug. You recognize her. Do you let her give you a hug?
Probably.
Yeah, and that wouldn't offend your wife?
I can't say that. I'm not my wife.
Yeah. Well, I know, but you know her well enough to be like, wait a minute. She would at least ask me questions and get.
Oh no, I'd get the back of the hand at some point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but there's nobody in my past that would do that. I've never been to a class reunion. I graduated 30 years ago.
Was like, well, you said I have a wedding ring on. Problems began. Like it was as soon as I put the ring on, like women came out of the woodwork.
You say that's what draws them out. They like a man they can't have. That's the whole thing.
There's no commitment.
There is a safety factor in it. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's all. It was like that, like dating in high school too. The guys that were with girls had more girls talking to them, and then when you were single, nobody was talking to you.
Yeah,
like it's.
When I was high school, I didn't talk to anybody either.
No.
Oh, the girls were all over me too, and I didn't know it. Never paid attention.
Just missing all the cues.
I just never paid attention. I was an athlete, powerlifting, track and field. Then I raced bikes. And on the side, did martial arts, all that. I never paid attention to girls. I really regret that. And sometimes I'll say that.
I would have traded out paying more attention to girls to just actually studying more in school. I spent most of my time just paying attention to girls and doing sports. And then it evolved from that to just, I don't know, sports and not paying as much attention to school. So it's like, oh yeah, it eventually
I wished I'd have paid more attention to school, but the school really wasn't teaching me shit.
Yeah.
Like my oldest son had the same problem. School was not teaching him shit.
I mean, I haven't looked back.
I had
at
to
it.
point him into the directions like I learned as I got out of school and spent time in the books, learning true history, true mathematics, true physics, learning not what the high school taught you, but what was real out there.
Mhm.
And when he went into quantum mechanics, I'm like, all right, you got to read this one, this one, this one. Simple as that.
Yeah, I had maybe three classes that were applicable to real life. Like everything else, you
Home
kind of already.
economics. Oh, you probably didn't
Well,
have home economics.
no, we had foods, which was the same for us. That's what
Okay.
economics turned into.
Learning to
We had
cook.
foods, and then we had Econ Ed was always a good one. Econ Ed, they teach you how to balance a checkbook. They teach you regular things, and
that real school right there.
yeah.
I mean, what my kid learned, he had to learn that at home. And the only reason my kid wasn't just absolutely homeschooled, both of them, was because they needed the socialization that comes from public school.
Yeah, I wish they would have had physics when I was in school. I
you
learned
didn't
most
have
of my
physics?
physics. No, they didn't. It wasn't offered.
Man.
They took that out probably years before I started school, and then I had to learn most of my physics and stuff like that just from working on jobs. Like that's how you figure out how things like doing tree work. I learned physics real quick.
Oh yeah, engineering and physics along with your algebra.
Oh yeah. Well, because I just needed basic math. Math was easy. If you understand weights and fractions and percentages, it's easy.
Yeah.
You don't need
It
anything
is.
after
It's
that.
still easy now. I don't use the super advanced math anymore. I had to learn it, but I don't use it. I mean, there's a certain point, especially like trigonometry, which I'm using daily now. But I didn't really think I needed any of that crap when I was doing it.
Yeah.
Got to pass the class. Got to pass the class. That was all it was. Learn stuff so you could pass the dang class. That was it.
And then I probably started selling weed 20 years ago when I was 16. I learned basic weights and how to pay collect money. That was the math I needed.
No problem.
Yeah. Right. I knew what an eighth was before anybody in my class did.
Hey, so got a little quiz for you two. So California has been for 9 years working on high-speed rail.
Maglev.
They've spent $11 billion over 9 years. How much do you think has been built so far?
0.
Go with 0.
No, there's a 1,600-foot slab of concrete.
Oh, nice.
That's very close to 0 when we're talking the distance they want to run with that rail.
Right. Monorail. What's that called?
That's 0.0001, maybe 0.0001% of what they projected.
Yeah. Dude, they've been talking about maglev trains in the United States for way too long.
They need to do it. Just do it.
Yeah. It's super easy. Super
we see
efficient.
it in other countries being done very well and working very well.
Oh yeah, China's got fucking bullets they're shooting around.
I know. Don't stop on those tracks because you're not dodging that one.
Right. And it's such an easy technology to use. Gosh.
The physics of it is so simple.
Yeah.
Once
we started having magnets we could turn on and off, it was a game changer. Why didn't we start using it? No, that's why I always thought, we were talking about UFOs earlier. That's what I always thought when you look at some of the structures of UFOs that are always kind of like angled downward. I always thought that they were using the magnetic poles of the Earth to travel because it looks like they're falling the whole time. And they're like, that it'd be the only way to explain how you get silence when you were moving without getting crazy propulsion noises.
you need to project your own magnetic force. It doesn't matter what the Earth is doing, the Moon is doing, because you're traveling between solar systems, stuff like
No, I
that.
agree, but it's just like when you bring an opposite end of a magnet to the other one, they propel each other away from each other. So if you were creating a force that was the opposite force of what you were riding on, you could ride that wave, is what I mean. You
Yeah,
could use it
I
for
mean,
propulsion.
somebody smart enough to travel between solar systems obviously has their own controllable magnetic field for their ship
Mm-hmm.
to
Because
be able to turn.
we were talking about
We
Einstein's
say we're at
theory.
6 or 7 here, and if they do a negative 6 or 7, they can easily pass through our atmosphere without an issue.
Oh, I didn't know it was like that. Okay.
That's magnetic pull.
Gonzo says Bossman did the Boone County mating call. And if you get that,
Yeah, let
you
us
watched
know
it.
next week when he's missing his ring finger.
Gonzo, my mom grew up in Boone County, and I've been there many times.
Yeah,
It's a heck of a place. Oof. Very scary. Very, very white. Very scary.
very, very heavy white, hard white.
Yeah. Jesco white.
They are Caucasian.
We're trying to
from the
keep it
mountains of
out of the
Caucasus.
conversation, but we both know what we're talking about.
Oh, man.
That's my favorite Cat Williams line. They're Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus.
Like your
Yeah,
grandma's a mountain?
No, it's Cat Williams, and he's sitting in a jail cell, and he's been in jail for 9 years. And his girlfriend comes to the window to talk to him through the glass on the phone or whatever, and she's got this little white baby in her hand with glasses on, and he's like, "That's not my baby." And he goes, "That is a white baby. That is a Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus." He's like, "I've been in jail for 9 years. That is a 2-year-old full-grown white man."
And that is not my son. Perfectly imperfect.
What up, Simon?
I don't think I know that one.
That's Simon. That's Simon Hectic. Ugh.
Let me grab that link and.
But yeah, you've met him. You remember Simon.
Yeah.
Our London buddy.
Hey, did you ever hear anything back from the dude? I think he was like a UCLA student or.
No, I didn't. That the guy that wrote a paper. Yeah, that was such a weird conversation that day. Okay, and so I kept that. I still have that interview. I haven't made any clips from that interview because of all the fucking drama that was going on at the time, and because Steve showed up at that interview and. With everything that was going on with Rocco, like it would have just been wild if all of a sudden I dropped this 7-hour podcast of Steve hanging out with us for this really long. Yeah. But Isaac was on there with us. Steve was on there. That guy from UCLA. Yeah, it was an interesting convo.
And then what about the lady that was like a psychiatrist or?
Yeah, she was on with Herman and me and April, and yeah, I haven't talked to her in a while either.
I was on there too.
You were too? Yeah. Yeah, she was in a bar and she kind of had music playing in the background.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah, she was a really nice lady.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. I can barely keep.
There was also that one guy. There was also that one guy in California. Like, there's been a couple guys that only me and you talked to, Bossman, that never showed up again. There was that one guy that stopped in California and was like smoking with us. And
it was the guy that lived here next to me.
Yeah, he was like right by. That's the guy I'm talking about. He was like right by you. And once we figured it out, and he never came on again.
Yeah.
He's like, oh nope, I know that guy. One guy that
I'm doing his wife. I don't want to be on here.
Right. He's just trying to track down the guy that's been banging his wife.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we'll have a good one. I can barely keep
you too, boss man.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Go rest your eyes.
Later.